Hello friends, you must have already filled out the application form for the Vidyarthi Vigyan Manthan VVM exam. Today, we will learn something from the book Anamani, which is part of the syllabus for Section A of the Class 7 VVM exam. Let's get started. We're going to embark on a truly grand adventure in this explainer today. Now, as 11-year-old students, you are at this absolutely wonderful age where the world is just full of mysteries waiting to be uncovered, isn't it? Well, today's story is about a highly remarkable woman named Anna Mani. But even more importantly, it's a story all about the absolute magic and the immense power of asking the right questions. It's about how a simple, deeply curious mind, honestly just like yours, can completely change the world.
Okay, let's dive into this. Part 1, the power of why.
I want you to really paint a vivid picture in your minds right now. Imagine our protagonist, Anna, when she was exactly your age, just 11 years old. Now, while other children might have been content just accepting the world exactly as it was, she was constantly asking questions that older people often thought were, well, completely unnecessary or even annoying. Imagine being this young, bright girl, looking around at the expectations of her time. She noticed that when it came to gifts, girls were almost always handed ornaments and shiny jewelry. And she looked at this and wondered deeply and profoundly, why? Why should gifts for girls be limited to just jewelry? Why shouldn't they receive books to read, or instruments or tools to explore the vast universe? She absolutely refused to accept that her world should be so small.
And you know, this rebellious curiosity, it only grew stronger as she got older. She looked around and saw a society where it was totally normal for boys to be sent off to get a rich, formal education, while girls were often just left behind, expected to simply manage the home. She felt the burning unfairness of this. Why should boys be educated and not girls? Why should half the entire population be denied the brilliant light of knowledge? She questioned this deep-rooted unfairness with every single ounce of her spirit.
But her curiosity didn't stop at her own personal life. It actually expanded to a deep, abiding love for her country. As she grew older and observed the scientific landscape of India, she asked another absolutely vital question. Why should a great, vast nation like ours have to depend on other, outside countries just to get simple scientific instruments? She believed her country was capable of so much more, and she felt that relying on outsiders for basic tools was simply unacceptable for a proud nation trying to find its footing.
Which brings us to a final, incredibly powerful question. She looked up at the sky and asked, why should we not measure our own weather? This wasn't just some passing thought. This brilliant, daring question became the ultimate spark. It ignited what would become her life's grand purpose and mission. She realized that understanding our own skies, our own climate, and our own environment was something we absolutely had to do ourselves.
Let's move to and see how this builds. Part 2, an extraordinary global journey. So those childhood questions didn't just disappear into thin air. No way. They launched her on an absolutely unbelievable, globe-spanning path. Just trace these incredible steps with me for a second. Her journey begins on a humble, quiet hillside in Kerala. From there, her immense thirst for knowledge takes her to the bustling, highly focused laboratories of Bangalore. But she doesn't stop there. She moves on to the technical workshops of Pune, getting her hands dirty and really mastering her craft. And finally, this brilliant mind from Kerala finds herself standing tall, presenting at prestigious scientific conferences all the way in Europe and America. What an incredibly expansive intellectual and physical journey.
But here is the most beautiful part of her story. Along this incredible journey across the globe, she didn't just collect answers for herself. She discovered a true, noble purpose. Her ultimate goal was to ensure that India could be completely self-reliant in understanding and exploring its very own weather and its own skies. She took all that vast global knowledge she gathered and poured it right back into serving her beloved nation.
Part 3. Big words, simple science. Now friends, as you read through your syllabus material and follow Anna's story, I have a little secret to share with you. You're going to encounter some very big, very scary-sounding science words. You'll come across challenging concepts like spectroscopy. You'll hear about complex radiation measurement and even dive into ozone chemistry. I want to promise you right now, as 11-year-old explorers of science, please, absolutely do not be discouraged if you don't understand these intimidating words immediately. They are literally just words, and behind every complex word is a simple, beautiful scientific truth just waiting to be uncovered.
Because, you see, science is never, ever about knowing all the answers right away. Anyone who tells you that has completely forgotten what science truly is. Science is about spending years learning. It's about experimenting. It's about failing and then having the courage to try again and again. But most importantly, science is about asking good questions, exactly like Anna did.
Now, what's really interesting about this next slide is Part 4, Your Tools for Success.
You see, you're not alone on this journey. To help you easily conquer these challenging concepts step by step, your book provides some amazing tools. First, you've got the Try to Imagine boxes. These invite you to literally put yourself right in Anna's shoes and see the world through her eyes. Second, the Think Like a Scientist sections are there to simplify those big, scary concepts we just talked about. Third, the mini profiles introduce you to the fascinating people who influenced her or who were influenced by her. And finally, the breakout boxes let you explore incredibly interesting side topics to really broaden your knowledge.
I strongly encourage you to actively use these features. Seriously, don't just read them quietly by yourself, discuss them with your friends, share your thoughts with your teachers, ask each other questions. The whole goal here is to let Anna Mani's historic, fiery curiosity spark your very own. Because when you share ideas, learning becomes this joyous collective adventure.
Finally, Part 5, Continuing the Legacy.
As we wrap up our explainer today, I want to leave you with a deeply inspiring thought. Please remember that Anna Mani was not simply born a scientist. She didn't magically wake up one day knowing everything. She became a brilliant scientist through sheer, relentless hard work. She overcame massive setbacks that would have easily defeated a lesser spirit, and she did it all with a fierce, unwavering determination to serve her country. While you don't necessarily have to grow up to become a scientist yourself, you can literally be anything you dream of. You absolutely must become people who ask questions. You must become people who tirelessly seek answers and who refuse to accept that things must remain exactly as they are. So turn the page, begin your journey, and let this incredible story inspire your own grand adventure. Tell me, what will be the first big why that you ask the world?